In this video, we will be discussing how a data model corresponds to database, specifically how the entities depicted on a data model correspond to tables depicted in a database. In front of you, you see a data model for the classic models database. Specifically, you see a variety of different entities, for example, customers, payments, offices, employees, order details, products, and product lines. These entities have attributes within them. Well, taking a look at, for instance, the customer entity right here, we notice that the name of the entity is customers, and this customer's entity has a variety of attributes within it. One of these attributes is the attribute called customer number. If one notices a key next to customer number or next to an attribute, that attribute is in fact the identifier or primary key. In this case, customer number is the primary key of the customers table. Just like that, employee number is the primary key of employees, office code is the primary key of offices, and check number is the primary key of payments, and so on and so forth. Within the customers table, there are other attributes, such as customer name, contact last name, contact first name. Next to these attributes, you might see a diamond that is either empty or full. An empty diamond means that values of address line 2, for instance, in the customer's entity might hold null values. A full diamond indicates that the values of the column or for that attribute cannot be null. They cannot be empty, as it were. Now, there are some attributes that are either depicted by a red diamond or a red bordered diamond that is white on the inside. These represent a different type of attribute. Specifically, they represent these things called foreign keys. Between entities, we see lines, and these lines represent relationships. There are several different types of relationships that can exist between entities, specifically one-to-many, many-to-many, and others. A database corresponds to a data model and is the physical instantiation of this visualization, this picture. Opening up MySQL Workbench, we can take a look at the classic models database, specifically the customers table in the classic models database. When you click on the customers table and take a look at the object information, you see that the names of the columns in the table correspond to the names of the attributes in the data model. This is important because a data model is frequently the manner in which individuals and employees within an organization communicate about data. And so the physical instantiation of a data model, which is the database, needs to have an accurate representation and correspondence to the data model. And so we see that the column names in the table correspond to attribute names in the data model. Under object information, we also see that customer number that was identified as, or that was signified as the identifier or the primary key, is in fact the primary key also in the customers table. The other column that is highlighted is called sales rep employee number and represents a foreign key. So from this, we see that data models correspond and tie very closely to the actual databases that store data. To work with a database, it is important to first understand the data model and how to read the data model. This concludes our explanation of the correspondence between data models and databases. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you very much.